Future Patrick here. So I am editing this video right now, and I'm at a point in the video where I'm like, damn dude, are you just complaining? Whenever you guys watch this video, and if you ever feel like, man, this guy's just complaining, I want you to remember, when you're on your deathbed, and you're looking up at your kids and your wife or your husband and your family, you're not gonna say, man, I wish I would have worked more. Man, I wish I would have worked harder at that job I had in 2021. That's not what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, man, I wish I would have lived more. I wish I would have done things I decided to do more. I wish I would have spent more times with my kids, with my spouse, with my mother, my father. If I'm gonna have a regular job for the rest of my life, be happy for you. So whenever you're watching this video, if you think I'm complaining, remember, when you are on your deathbed, you're not gonna say, I should have worked more. And I don't want to speak ill about anybody that I worked with. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Patrick. If this is your first time here, consider giving me a like and a subscribe. I'm putting out content all the time. If you're returning, it's good to have you back. I'm happy to see you. Today, I'm going to talk about what a lot of people have asked me about, but I'm also, going to tell you what maybe you should do. Or give you hope for something you should do. A lot of people ask me, why did I quit my job? Should you quit your job? I'm gonna give you some background. From 18 to 25, I worked in the restaurant industry. I was working long hours, we were drinking. That's when I had two small children at the time. Now they're a little bit bigger. And it was just time to get out. It's a brutal business. It's a lot of fun. You make a lot of money, you meet a lot of people. It was just time to go. So I saved up a little money and I quit my job with no job lined up, which is something you should never do. Don't do that. So I started applying places, all kinds of places. And a friend reached out to me and said, hey, I work for a lab and they are hiring in the data entry, basically data entry section, bottom of the barrel. All right, cool. So I went and had an interview and I got hired. You know what I mean? Great. I could type fast. I wasn't, stupid. And so I got on. And this job, they offered me, free healthcare, free insurance for my children, really good bonus around Christmas every year, a lot of opportunity to move up at the time. Got this job and I loved everybody. Everybody loved me as far as I knew, my boss was great. My boss's boss were great. My coworkers were great. People who weren't even in, my department were great. We're a very small company. My boss moved me forward as much as she could, I had 3 or 4 positions while I was there, always moving up. And, they hired a couple of my friends. Just things were good. And, and I was comfortable. They were comfortable with me. And as far as I know, if I would have stayed, I'd still be working there now. I was never in jeopardy of ever losing my job. Then we come to the end. We were purchased by another company. They kind of changed the culture. We went from a small, like 7 owners to a big corporation who owned us from another state, and we didn't really see them. And things just changed a little bit, you know what I mean? And we lost that, in my opinion, kind of lost that, hey, we're here to help. It's just you're more like a number. And I don't want to speak ill about anybody that I worked with because I genuinely had a great time. I learned so much. I feel like I was ready. The only reason I had, the bravery or courage to leave was the things that I learned in that job. As I said, my boss was great, always pushed me forward, hired a lot of my friends. I was actually working directly next to my best friend in the whole world. You know what I mean? He got on and we worked together every single day. At the end, I was in charge inventory and supplies, and they kind of just let me do my thing. Sure, they would push things down that needed to get done, but I was in that role and I took care of a lot of things. I spent a lot of money for the company. Hopefully I made a lot of money for the company. I don't know, shipping, receiving, all kinds of stuff. It was just me and my guy. We're kind of a 2-man band, but I learned a whole lot at this place and it was really great. Why did I leave? Depending on who you talk to, they'd probably say I left for this or I left for that. But at the end of the day, I really wanted to be closer to home. It was about 30 miles out. It wasn't super far, but that's 60 miles a day. I had a car for a year. I put like 35,000 miles on it, and a lot of it, most of it was because of work. I wanted to be closer to home. I wanted to get home sooner. My new job is only 8 miles away, 16 miles a day. One of the most biggest reasons ever was that when that new company came in, they changed a few things a little too much for me. I had a lot of responsibility. I felt like I was working hard. My boss, her boss, a lot of people wanted, to move me forward. But with that company, there was really nowhere for me to go. There was no more money for me to be had. And it wasn't all about the money. Sometimes I felt stuck. I was doing the same thing every day. Nothing was new anymore. It became like second nature. nature. I just got real complacent. Although money wasn't everything, I did want more money, you know, and the money wasn't there for me to be had. It was always, you know, you're gonna wait, you're gonna wait, you're gonna wait. A few promises were made and they weren't kept. That just kind of happens, you know what I mean? When you're not that small company anymore and a larger company owns you, what can you do? They say no, they say no. They don't have to look at me and say no. You know, the people around us do. And that's no fault of their own. And people fought for me and I greatly appreciate it. But in 2021 and 2022, you know, you don't have to be thankful just to have a job anymore. You get what I mean? Just to have a job. You should be happy you're working. I mean, this isn't 2008 and this isn't 1965. You know, you don't have to just go to work and be a zombie if you choose not to. There are plenty of routes you can take. There's plenty of jobs that are hiring. A lot of people are starting their own business. COVID changed the map of the world. You know what I mean? Like, people are starting businesses with stimulus money and are raking in dough now, you know? I used to think that. I used to think that I had to be at this job. I was thinking that in the restaurant industry, I was so afraid to get fired. I was thinking about in this new lab position that I had, I was so afraid to get fired up until the end. In the end, I wasn't really afraid because I had earned my stripes and I put in the work and I learned what to do. And I think I was respected for that. I was everywhere I needed to be and most of the time when I needed to be there. So, you know, I talked to a lot of people before I decided to leave, and a lot of people said, hey man, just wait. You know, this feeling of being stuck or getting complacent, it happens in life. You know what I mean? You're young, just give it some time. And I gave it some time, and that feeling just never left. And it was just, I needed to go, and I think I wanted to try something new. Some people took it negatively, some people took it positively. But at the end of the day, as I said, you don't have to work for a company anymore if you don't want to. Like, there's other jobs out there that'll hire you and appreciate you, and things will be different. And my job did hire me and appreciated me, and it was great. Like, I spent a lot of time at this lab. But what I'm trying to tell the people who are listening, what I want you to know, you don't have to stay at a job just because it's your job. You can go other places. You don't owe them anything. And sure, like, I miss the people I worked with all the time. As I said, everybody knew me. I knew everybody. It was a fun workplace, but it was just time for me to go. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I live in Texas, and Texas is an at-will state. You know, you can quit anytime you want. They can fire you anytime they want, with no reason. You don't have to put a 2 weeks in. It's respected. I did put in my 2 weeks and I worked out my 2 weeks. But what people forget is that, you know, you have this one life to live. And if you're not happy, you're going to spend 8 hours a day, 9 hours, 10 hours a day at a job. You know, the other 8 hours you're going to spend at home, and then you're going to spend hopefully 8 or 9 asleep. A lot of times it's less. Why not be happy? I was, you know, like I said, I liked the people there, but I was just tired of the work. I didn't want to do that work anymore. I had done it so much. There's nothing wrong with that. As I said, it's an at-will state. They come to you and say, hey, you have these talents that we want. We have these benefits, this paid time off, all these things. And you come in evenly. When they take away something, you know, it might not be even anymore. When you stop working hard, it might be in your favor because you're still getting paid, you're still getting those benefits. When you get lazy, when you start not working as hard as I said, you start showing up late, start taking advantage of stuff, then, you know, you're winning and the company may be losing. But when you come in, you're equal. And when you're equal for so long and then you take away certain things because of this new company coming in and changing stuff and you don't like it, it doesn't have to be personal. It's not personal, it's business. I agreed to do this for you and you agree to do this for me. And when companies take over, a lot of times those things change. Some of those things change for the better, won't lie. But if, you know, some of those things change for the worse. And if you're in that boat, then you should consider quitting your job. Should you quit your job in 2021, 2022, put yourself as, you know, one of the members of the Great Resignation? So I put in my 2 weeks and I left. And I got hired at a new job that is 22 miles closer. It's very flexible. I can kind of go in when I want, kind of leave when I want. It's a completely different industry. I have healthcare. I went to the dentist the other day and they said, you have really good dental insurance. You know, and that's great. And there's no shade on my other job. And when I talk about my other job, I try to talk about it before the new company took over. You know what I mean? Because one of the reasons I left is because of the new company. And a lot of people left. And a lot of people are still leaving. And that's okay. You know, and that's okay. It's doing what's right for them. Sometimes we take things too personally because we don't want to let things go. And I took that place very personally for a long time because I tried to do my best and I got attached and things stopped going my way, in my opinion. So I realized that and I saw that and I tried to humble myself. It's time for me to leave. And it might be time for you to leave your job. Should you quit your job in 2022? Maybe you should, because there's other jobs that are going to hire you. You are not your job unless you own your job. Unless you have a wonderful job that you're happy doing. If you're a lawyer and you work for a law firm and, you know, they suck, you can go to another law firm. If you're a machinist and you work for a company and they suck, you can go be a machinist elsewhere. I could have went and did data entry or inventory supply somewhere else. I can do inventory supply at the company I'm with. I'm not doing inventory supply. I'm not in the medical field anymore. It's just completely different. And it is, you know, more money, and there's profit sharing and there's bonuses. You know, the pros and the cons. I left and I'm happy with my decision. And I think some of you guys might be on the cusp of wanting to leave as well. And if you feel like you should, then you should. Do not leave without a new job like I did when I was 25 years old. Once again, I liked that job a whole lot. I loved it. I loved the people I worked with. I had a great boss. My friends were there. My boss's boss was great. My boss's boss's boss was good for a long period of time. And I learned a whole lot, and I met great people, and you know, and I found self-worth and self-value when it comes to the job force. You know, now I know that I'm worth this, and you know, if you employ me, you owe me this, and I owe you that. I was shown a lot of appreciation, and a lot of good things came from that place, and I'll always be grateful for it. You know what I mean? My best friend still works there, and he loves it, and I still have friends that I speak to that are there, and they love it, and I'm happy for them. And you know, it's just, I was there for a little over 6 years. I thought I was gonna be there for a lot longer. Things change. And they changed for the better, and I'm happy, and like I feel free, and I have no more weight on my shoulders. I'm not overly stressed when it comes to my workplace, and I'm good with that. And I hope you guys can be good with that too. If you have a great job, stay at it. If you don't like it, leave it. It shouldn't be such a hard decision anymore, unless you're just in like this one-stop town and there's only one place to work. Man, that sucks for you. Maybe you should move. And I know it's hard. I got 2 kids and I got 5 stepkids. I know all about adversity. I know all about struggle. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you quit your job in 2021 or 2022, you know, leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think. If you think I'm an idiot, just let me know. Thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.